Now here with us to talk more about it, Dr. Cedric Rutland, a triple board-certified pulmonary critical care and internal medicine physician and national spokesperson for the American Lung Association. Dr. Rutland, what do you make of what we're learning about what led to Kyle's tragic death?
First of all, good morning, Griff, and I apologize, and I'm very sorry for the Busch family. When you think about what pneumonia is essentially inflammation and infection of the lungs. And what can happen as a result of the presence of a bacteria within your lung is it takes up the space where your gas exchange is supposed to take place. And when that actually happens, you get really short of breath, you can't breathe, and there's always a possibility of you developing sepsis. That's an overwhelming amount of inflammation within your body that affects all of your organs. And when I hear about this in a 41-year-old male, I am very, very sad. I am very, very hopeful that people can recognize these signs and symptoms a lot earlier than maybe we did here.
And Dr. Rutland, you talk about signs, back on May 10th in Watkins Glen, New York, at a race, we had the radio transmission. You could hear Kyle talking to his pit crew saying that he needed to get his doctor, that he needed a shot. Was that a sign that we may have missed?
It definitely was a sign of something. When you think about a 41-year-old male who's finishing a very competitive race, who's asking for a shot of something, you have to ask yourself, what symptoms was this gentleman having? And as a physician who's been in these spots, as a physician who takes care of patients, outpatient, inpatient, in the intensive care unit, I know when a 40-year-old is asking me for something, that 40-year-old is really sick. And so I have to start investigating and figure out exactly what's going on so I can have a game plan for how I'm going to manage this illness.
And Dr. Rutland, so after that May 10th incident, he continued to race at pretty much full steam ahead on the 15th, just 5 days later. He actually wins a race. A couple days later, he doesn't do as well, but he kept pushing through. We all well know how difficult and physically, demanding racing is. Should he have possibly taken a step back?
Here's the way I think about this. Remember, your lungs are a bunch of pipes that lead to a bunch of balloons all stacked on top of one another. They're usually these empty spaces, right? Now, if you think about what pneumonia is, if you have a bacteria infect those lungs, and now you have your immune system in the area taking up space, you're a little bit short of breath, you're a little bit fatigued, now you decide to go race. And when you're on a racetrack and you're inhaling all of the pollution that a racetrack has, and it does have a little bit, you've got the rubber, you've got the air pollution, the auto exhaust, all of those things, that can create more of an inflammatory response, and you can have even more immune cells within that lung. And so, again, my expertise, I would have said, hey, listen, if I think this patient has pneumonia and they're about to race a car, I would look back and I would say, hey, listen, why don't we hold off on this one and let you recover?
Just a tragic, tragic death. The whole racing world feeling that this morning. Dr. Cedric Rutland, thank you very much for joining us.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.